Hello and welcome to our March release update. This release will be in your test systems on March the 14th and it will follow into your live systems 10 days later on March the 24th. Here to take us through all the new features and all the new functionality that we have for you this time around is Jorg. Hi Jorg, over to you.
Thanks for the handover. Now let's take a look at all of the content of this release. As a small teaser, we have two release highlights this release. The first is job requisition suppliers and the second is about timesheets and an alternate start date for the start day for these timesheets. But more on that in a little bit. First, let's take a look at general improvements, smaller improvements. The first three are mainly about the new timesheet module. So these things are not implemented in the classic timesheet module. Some of you already have received invitations to start implementing or testing with the new timesheet module, and some of you will get that invitation in the next month or two. Yeah, but at least I hope that these improvements make you excited to start trying it out. First of all, we could already create a new timesheet based on the data in an other timesheet. Now we have added the functionality that when you have already created the timesheet and are editing it, you can decide to take the data from another timesheet and copy it into the timesheet you're working on. Now, please be advised, it will absolutely overwrite the data that was in your opened timesheet. So this is not added to the timesheet, it is overwriting the timesheet data. Some of our customers are automatically creating timesheets for people so that reminders can be sent through the system. So for this functionality, this is actually a very nice option. Secondly, we have made it so that the transition workflow model, so the pop-up you get when you want to execute a workflow transition, will automatically continue, so automatically confirm the model if no other input is necessary. So if there's no comment field or other field that needs to be filled in by the user, then the pop-up will still open, but the transition will automatically be executed, so the user does not have to confirm the pop-up, basically. It saves a click, and in a day or a week, that's a lot of clicks. So I hope that, that this helps a lot of people. Like I said, this is a new transition model that we currently only have implemented on timesheets, but we are definitely working on renewing other modules in our system, and we will then implement this this new functionality there as well. So you should see this become available on other places in the VMS in the coming period. Lastly, for timesheets, it is now possible to make project codes for timesheets mandatory. This is a setting in the assignment where basically you can enforce project codes. You do need to select cost centers for time registration, but yeah, then it is no longer possible to save a timesheet if there is time registered not on a project code. So this is really nice. We got this request quite a few times. One idea that was logged that we have implemented is that previously you would need to select the preferred type of engagement in a job requisition to be able to show the benchmark rates for a role profile. So you would create a new job requisition, select a role profile, and basically you would like to see the benchmark rates for that role profile immediately, and it was gated behind selecting that preferred type of engagement. That is no longer necessary, so these benchmark rates will show as soon as you select the role profile. And then finally, we added support for parallel export messages for invoices. In a previous release recently, we implemented this functionality for other objects. Now this is also available for invoices. So if it is set up this way, the export messages can go for one invoice, can go to multiple different systems, and this communication with these external systems will be completely separate from each other. So we know when which system acknowledges a message or sends another request. So that should help our integration partners a lot. Then, so far, all of the smaller things in the release. Let's take a look at the highlights of this release, starting with job requisition suppliers. So why did we make this? This functionality would allow users without access to the sourcing table, without the possibility to add sourcing rows manually, it would allow these users, like hiring managers, to select their preferred suppliers for this job requisition without and possibly distribute them through automatic distribution without a hiring desk needing to be involved. So we added a new sourcing channel called Job Requisition Supplier. We added a new section where these users can select the suppliers. This section is not by default switched on and can be configured through page configuration. Also, the suppliers that are available for selection, they can be limited in the service agreement, so you have control over who can see this section and what can they select from there. And then when a sourcing template is applied, these selected suppliers will be added as sourcing rows. We will see that in a little demo soon. Then a couple of other improvements that we made as part of this development. It is now possible to configure the available distribution channels through a process configuration, giving you more control over how you want to handle these within a certain process. We also made it so that the maximum number of proposals field no longer has to be mandatory, so this can now be left empty instead of always needing a value, and the maximum number of proposals will then have no limit. Currently, some of our users, they will just enter 9,000 as a very high number to indicate that there's no limit to the amount of proposals. But with this new change, that's no longer necessary, and you can just leave the field empty to achieve the same thing, a better thing, arguably. All right, so let's take a look at this functionality. Let's see if the demo works. So we're in a new job requisition, logged in as Mark Middleton, who has the role of a hiring manager. Now, if we scroll all the way down to the sourcing strategy, we can see this new pick list, preferred sourcing suppliers, where this hiring manager can select a couple of suppliers from this limited list to indicate that they would like this job requisition to be sent to these suppliers. When we save it, and we wait a little bit for it to be saved, we can now go back to this section in our view page, and we can also, of course, see the suppliers that were selected here by the manager. Going back to the top, we do have a start sourcing option in this job requisition. This is automatic distribution. When we click start sourcing, that means that the sourcing template will be matched and sourcing will automatically start as per the automatic distribution, basically. So if we look at another user, this is the administrator user, filling the role, having the same rights as a hiring desk. We're again in the edit page of a job requisition, and we can do the same thing if we want, or they would see this table as how it was left by the manager. Now, if we apply a sourcing template, conveniently named so I could find it, that has rows for this job requisition supplier, then we can see that these rows are added based on the suppliers that are selected above. If we remove one of these suppliers, they will immediately be removed from this list. And we can also manually remove these lines. So here's a little functionality where a hiring desk could leave the chosen preferred suppliers in the top as the hiring manager left it or set it, and then manually remove rows before distribution to kind of show what the request was and the difference between what was actually distributed. Either way, these are agreements that are made internally. If we would now reapply this template, you can see that it will add 2 more rows, and it will add the rows based on these let's go back just a second. Yeah, it will add the 2 rows based on the selection above. So it will basically reapply the full template, and it will not care what job requisition suppliers were already in this sourcing table. Now we removed the double one here, and if we again as a administrator or hiring desk go to a job requisition that is already being sourced, we can see these job requisition suppliers, we can see the status of their channels, which is all open. Now, if we edit this job requisition and we do a similar thing as before, which is remove one of these suppliers from the preferred selection up here. Let's remove rent a resource. There we go. And we scroll down. We see that it's moved to the other side. If we scroll down, this row is still there. And it's still there because sourcing has already started. Maybe proposals are already sent, so we can't immediately remove it. But if we save it now, let's click. There we go. If we save this change on the job requisition and we take a look at the sourcing status, it takes a little bit because there's a background process dealing it. So I scroll down and the channel is still open, but just a little bit later, a few minutes later, the channel is closed immediately, basically. It is closed as soon as possible. So this way, a sourcing channel for these types of suppliers can be closed as well. So far for this demo and this topic. We hope you like it. Let us know if you want to play with this, and we will support you where we can. Now, let's move on to the next topic. And that next topic is timesheets with a different start day. So why did we make this? Certain markets use weeks that do not start on a Monday. and until now we did not support those markets correctly. So what did we do? We added a setting in the assignment to define the start day for timesheets. This setting can be configured in the page configuration, and this setting can be made default in a certain value through the process configuration. So it is possible to create a process that is specifically for this market where weeks start on a Friday, for instance, and the users that are creating the assignment will never need to worry about it, because it's all default, and this start day field will be hidden, or it will be read only, whatever is possible within page configuration. All of your current assignments will not be changed, so basically we are migrating them to have their start day be a Monday. Well, as a result of that, all of the timesheets will start on the defined day, and since we are still working with names for timesheets that indicate the week, so week 11 of a certain year, for instance, we have defined the week that gets assigned to a timesheet through the ISO week determination, so that's standard. We assign the week number of the week that has the most days in this timesheet. So 4 or more days in the timesheet gets that ISO week number assigned. Finally, start day cannot be changed once the assignment is final. This is because we cannot logically handle like a gap between timesheets if the start day is moved forward, or overlapping days that would appear in 2 timesheets, for instance. So start day is fixed for the assignment. If that start day needs to be changed, it would result in a new assignment with the correct start day, with the new start day. So what does that look like in the assignment if we set this field visible and if we make it mandatory? It will always by default be filled in. But yeah, we can simply change the day of the week in the assignment. And then for this assignment, when we want to create a new timesheet, we will see that it looks exactly the same as it did before, but the date ranges are now different. So the week 11 timesheet starts on the 7th of March, and the 7th of March is in fact a Friday. Yeah, so this works exactly the same as you would expect, but the date range is adjusted to it. And if we look in what a timesheet looks like, of course the week number is assigned to the week that has the most days in it. So in this case, we can see that Monday through Thursday, second part of the week, is 4 days of a week. So week 11 in the ISO standard matches the week that starts on Monday the 10th of March. Yeah, and of course, already shown, this timesheet actually starts on a Friday. We can also see that the weekend is still by default Saturday and Sunday. It is marked or made visible in this way. This is something that we still want to tackle as well, so maybe define which days are the weekend, so that that marking can also change depending on those settings. The fact that you cannot enter time here on a Saturday and a Sunday, that is a result of the rate table, so that's just configuration. So for a user that would see this week starting on a Friday, having their weekend maybe on Wednesday and Thursday at the end of the week, then those days could be left empty. The Wednesdays and Thursdays could be left without time to register, for instance. So all of the standard functionality should work, but then starting on a different day of the week. A couple of things that are still coming that we do not fully support right now. Importing timesheets and exporting timesheets with a different start day will not work. This is support that we, including the next point, is support that we will be building in the next few months, when we will be rounding up the new timesheet or the timesheet rebuilding project. These are things that we will definitely tackle. The second thing is that if you use invoices that are split up by week, they will always be split up using Monday as the start day. So that will not play nice with timesheets that are not starting on Monday. So this is not a problem if you use timesheets that start, if you use invoices that are not split by week, but just by date ranges, for instance, that will work correctly always. So it's just that the split by week is defined in the invoicing still as split starting and a Monday, and that's something we did not change yet. And that's everything for this release. Finally, a longer release webinar. Lots of stuff we could talk about. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. And I will talk to you later. Thanks a lot.
That brings us to the end of the March release update. Thanks for all the information, Jorg. There's certainly a lot packed into this release. On screen now, you can see the release dates for the rest of the year. We'll see you again next month. Hope you can join us then. Goodbye.